Welcome to The Kingdom Sleeps, the fantasy bedtime story decided by the roll of a dice. My name's Andrew, I'll be your story master for this evening, and I'll be joined tonight by Brandon as we once again join Hiram in his investigations through Fort Owari as he slowly uncovers the mysteries of Kopyama Citadel. Tonight's episode art was produced by Kotaraya Rizuet, and tonight's music was produced by Dominik Kalajdzic. Thank you so much for tonight's contributing artists, and thank you so much to our Patreons for supporting this show. If you're someone who's been enjoying the show for quite a while, we'd really appreciate your support on Patreon. According to our analytics, there's over 600 of you who listen to the show more than twice a week, and if you're one of those people and you feel like you get a little bit of value out of what we produce, Patreon is only $3 a month, and over there you get ad-free episodes. You get early releases when I have time outside of my day job to produce the shows early enough. And you also get access to all of the high-quality art that is produced for the show. I understand that not everybody, especially now, has the money to donate to such things. And please don't if you feel like you're not in a position to do so. But if you feel like you could afford $3 for 1 month or even 2 months, that would go a long way to helping us produce the show for the rest of the year. Being able to pay our performers, pay our artists fairly, keep the show AI free, and keep the show running for, well, as long as we can. But without further ado, close your eyes, make yourselves comfortable, and join us where the kingdom sleeps. As you look around, with no sound or sight of anyone else, in this quiet room, you slowly unfurl this parchment, and you discover that what you have procured from Warwick is indeed an order form. This appears to be a request for some very specific equipment. Roll me an Arcana check, please.
It's a 16.
On a 16, Hiram would understand that this particular order form and the equipment being requested on it would be used for large industrial machinery. It could be construction or weaponry. It's unclear, but it's usually used in mechanisms that might be required for a motor that is perhaps more intricate than anything more standard that you might find in a car or a vehicle. This is for transforming the movement in particular and unique ways. There's something very special is being produced here. That's one of the first things you notice. The second thing you notice is that this order form bearing this peculiar unknown symbol to you, that 5-petaled flower, does not appear to be an order from the Guardians Guild themselves, but from something that is described as royal operations.
Have I heard of this royal operations before?
Roll me a history check, please.
It's a 15.
On a 15, in almost a year you've been here, and across your entire career, you've never heard of anything described as royal operations, specifically as an entity, as an organisation, in the way that it is in this order form. You've perhaps heard of the goings-on of the royal family, and that they may have certain agendas of their own, but to hear specifically of royal operations as an organisation, as I say, no, this does not ring any bells for Hiram.
And does it appear that this old coat of arms is related to this Royal Operations Department?
From the way that it's written, you would say absolutely so. It is an emblem that is attached to the name wherever you see it on the paper. Could definitely make that connection.
Presumably, this order form is going to require a lot of brightstone for this kind of intricate mechanical construction. Are we talking more than I might be using in some of my designs? Is this an exceptional amount, or are we talking smaller, could be siphoned off of another delivery kind of amounts?
To you, this appears to be a large amount, but not an unusual amount of brightstone. Although, of course, you can only hazard a guess because you are purely looking at singular components that are going to be used for a specific build, without seeing the rest of the order forms and what makes up this entire machine. You couldn't be entirely sure. But if you were going to make an educated guess, just from this, I think you would say that it would be no more than might be used in a brightstone harvester. And if it needed to be siphoned from another project, it could probably be done easily. As I say, you have very little information really to go on here.
Realizing that I have spent quite some time even finding this desk, I would like to roll this order form back up into its cylinder and take one last look around Riam Dilblock's desk. This time looking for anything that might indicate that that device that's still tucked in my inkwell in my pocket might have been sourced from his department.
Sure. Roll me an investigation, please.
It's a 10.
With a 10, you have a rifle around on his desk. Like I say, he has some headed note paper that sits there, and a couple of notebooks sit on the top edge of his desk. But otherwise, the desk is relatively clear. However, you thoroughly peruse what happens to be there. And inside one of the notebooks, on a cursory flip, you do happen to come across his works, or at least some of his works and notes upon the creation of sensing stones. And you can see the glyphs or motion sending in there, as you have discussed with Faye previously.
Do I see anything about a receiver?
Looking a little more carefully, having found this page, you can see the corresponding glyphs for receiving. Now, whether this in fact means he created the stone, you couldn't say, but he is certainly working on research, at least, that pertains to this technology.
I pull the inkwell out of my satchel, place it on the desk next to the open notebook, and look between the diagrams, and I'm not drawing it out of the inkwell, and consider what it might mean if I simply left it here for him to discover. But thinking again how on the nose, perhaps a threat that could be perceived as, I pick it back up, tuck it away, carefully place the notebook back such that I would hope he wouldn't be aware that anyone had looked through. Would like to quickly make my way back towards the door I saw Warwick go into, in a pantomimed fluster, to show that I have mistakenly picked up the wrong cylinder and apologize profusely.
Very good. As you hastily roll up the scroll and make your way out of this department, it's not long before you find yourself walking along that curved hallway once more. And can I ask, are you in any way moving through these holes with stealth, or are you feigning an innocence here?
I am, if anything, making a show of the panicked response that I might have if I had realized I had mistakenly picked up some rather sensitive documents.
In which case, as you nearly clatter down the hall, your footsteps plopping along the stone floor, and as you make that first curve around the corner, heading towards the main hall, and as you say, that door you believed Warwick may have gone through, you are immediately met, coming the other way, by a tall, steadily marching Guardian's Guild guard, one who wears the insignia that you would recognize to be of the security force that work within the building, who deal with mostly staff matters. This is the kind of person who does the ferrying and escorting around the building on a regular basis. And they're walking quickly, and as soon as they see you come around that corner, you can see their eyes widen, and they address you immediately. You! What are you doing here? Are you Hiram?
I'm glad to have bumped into you. Yes, I seem to have made a terrible mistake. I bumped into a work colleague.
You certainly have. What are you doing wandering around these halls by yourself?
I was taking what I believe to be some plans of a student to their department to deliver before tomorrow morning, and I seem to have picked up the wrong cylinder from a bump I had with a colleague. I need to get these back to Warwick. I believe he went through a door just down the corridor.
Yes. Warwick has been to see me. You have some of his documents? What is happening? He said that you were not escorted and that I should come and find you immediately.
I was hoping to very quickly drop off the plans, make a few notes, and get back. And I have made quite a mess of it all. These, I think, are quite sensitive plans. I would appreciate you in getting these back to the right hands as quickly as possible.
You can see him sort of eye up the plans that you have in your hand. Roll me an insight check, please.
It's a 14.
On a 14, you can tell he knows what that is. He can see the emblem that you noticed on the outside, and he's aware, at least to some degree, what that is that you're holding.
I am trying to make it as clear as possible that I would like him to take them, that I want nothing to do with it, that I am ultimately feigning a deep apology in even touching these documents.
He reaches his hand out at first, rather gently, and then you can see his hand snap as he grabs for the scroll from your hand and whips it towards his chest. Yes, I will make sure that these are returned to work immediately. Hiram, are you finished with your business?
I'm so sorry, but if I could disturb Warwick briefly, I believe he has the plans of the student that I was hoping to deliver.
I see. Very well. Well, I will escort you. I believe I know where he is. Follow me.
I'm sorry, I did not catch your name, Guardian.
My name is Sharp.
Sharp, I cannot thank you enough.
It is my job. This is why I'm here. Just, next time, make sure you don't just end up wandering around these halls. There is a reason that we have the escort system. It's a secure building. I believe you work here regularly, yes?
I do, yes, and you're very right. I was in too much of a rush and was not thinking straight.
Yes, very well. He says these words as his eyes look across at you from the side. Roll me a deception check, please.
That's a dirty 20.
Beautiful. On a dirty 20, you can see his shoulders relax a little bit as you continue to walk out of the hallway and into the main hall, walking quite quickly across it to head over to Warwick's department on the other side. And he says to you, "You know, I'm usually quite familiar with people who work in this building, but not so much yourself, Hiram. How long have you been here?"
I tend to keep quite strict and standard hours. I've been here nearly a year now. But never have I been in the building quite so late.
Ah, yes, that is probably why we have not crossed paths so often. I do the graveyard shift, as it were.
It's appreciated. Someone has to.
Yes. This building has been my home for many years. It is an honor, it is a privilege. I hope you feel the same.
I know that there are few constructors who enjoys the opportunities I do, and it's not wasted on me.
That's good to hear, Hiram. That's good. Yes, we are all lucky to be here. Most certainly. And what is the nature of your work here as a constructor?
I am consulting for the Guardians Guild in weapons and armor development at the moment, seeking innovative uses of Brightstone.
Ah, I see. Yes, that is why you know Warwick, I suppose.
Indeed. A diligent man, and I am dreading seeing him again, honestly, given the mess I've caused him.
Oh, mistakes happen. Hey, Hiram.
I like to keep them as infrequent as I can.
As you say this, you find that you've already made yourself cross the hall, down a short hallway on the other side, and Sharp is knocking on the office door of Warwick. Tap, tap, tap. As Warwick, you can hear inside, scuttles towards the door and creeps it open a crack. Hello? Oh, you again. Yes, it is your friend, Hiram, and he steps aside to show your presence.
My sincerest apologies again, Warwick. I don't
You've
know what's
already
gotten over me
apologized.
this evening. But I hadn't realized how stupid I had been until I got to the desk and I looked at the scroll and... here it is anyway. Could I trouble you for the students' plans? Have you still got them?
You saw the scroll.
I took the merest glance, realized it was not what I was supposed to have, and I immediately came in search of you.
Okay. Thank you. And he sees the scroll in your hand and takes it sharply out of yours. Yes, come in. Thank you, Sharp. No problem. And you can see he turns his head and walks away as Warwick begins to walk into his office and heads to his desk to rifle through the order forms, leaving you there alone with Warwick. Let me see. Oh, yes, here it is. I wish I had noticed that myself. I suppose it was all a bit chaotic, eh?
Yes. I should long be in bed. I am not myself. I will get those over to Riam's desk and leave you to your work, Warwick.
Certainly. Hiram. I don't suppose there's any chance, you wouldn't tell too many people that this happened today. Not that I'm trying to keep any secrets or anything. It's just, well, it's a little embarrassing, you know. I'm meant to be keeping everything in order, and I shouldn't be losing documents. I wouldn't want anyone to. I just sort of feel like I might be a little bit on thin ice at the moment, and I didn't want anyone finding out that I maybe made a blunder.
On thin ice, Warwick. I check that the door is closed and that nobody is observing, and place my hand on his shoulder. Why would you be on thin ice? You're a diligent and committed worker. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. Hiram, I am. It's kind of you to say so. It's kind of you to say so. It's just, these are very important orders, and, you can see him sort of hesitantly look around and over your shoulder through the glass window of the door. I was requested to ensure that these documents stayed low profile.
Hence, walking the corridors with them so late.
Yes, I have been processing these orders at night.
Oh. Varric, I seem to have caused you even more trouble than I had first anticipated. If there is anyone I can speak to vouch for you, or whatever you need from me, I'm more than happy to.
It would be most... It would be best if you simply didn't say that you'd seen me, and then we can forget the whole thing. Yes.
I understand the sentiments, of course, but you realize that the Guardian outside shop, he is likely going to need to report what happens this evening to his superiors. I just want to make sure that I'm on your side.
Yes, I'm aware. I believe that Sharp is aware of my operations and will be discreet.
And I say this only out of concern for you, of course, there's no chance that he will construe what has happened this evening as something that might break the thin ice you find yourself on.
I hadn't thought about that.
I wouldn't want him making out that you have lapsed in your duty.
Yes. That's a good point. Perhaps I need to go and speak to him as well. Hiram.
This was my fault. This was entirely my fault, Varric, not yours. That's why I say I'm happy to speak with anyone that you are reporting to and make a full account.
I can't.
Who are you?
I can't really divulge who it is that we're working with at the moment.
I see.
Hiram, I do think it's probably best that you do just go. I'll figure it out. I'm sure I will. But I shouldn't have seen you. I just shouldn't have seen you at all.
Varric, I will go. But look at me. If you need help, I will give it to you. Just call.
Roll me a persuasion check, please.
That's a 15.
He looks at you with a very steely expression. And you can kind of see a warmth under his body. This sort of jittering, nervous frame of Warwick begins to solidify a little bit. And he slowly nods his head. Says, "Okay, Hiram. Thank you." Do you think you could speak to Sharp? Just make it clear, that that you were here, doing...
Incidentally.
I don't know. Yes, exactly.
Of course I will. Perhaps I can catch him if I go. And then I need not cause any more disturbance to you.
Thank you, Hiram.
If you'd like to talk or need to get in touch, just leave a memo on my desk. I'll find you.
All right.
Or if it needs to be a little more discreet, there's a gentleman who's often sweeping a building opposite my flats. You can leave something with him. Name is Zilch.
Zilch. All right, Hiram. It's good to know. And, well, it's nice to have someone on the inside with me, I suppose. It's been a little difficult.
I best go. I don't want to miss Sharp.
I have these to process before a certain time tonight, or...
I have these plans to deliver. We have our jobs to do. Okay. Goodbye, Vorik.
Bye, Hiram. He scuttles behind his desk once more, begins unfurling order forms as you exit the office.
Did I see in what direction Sharp is going? He left us.
He headed back through the hall in the direction he led you, leading into the grand hall that you entered upon.
And is he still in sight from here now?
As you walk a little further down the hallway and can see the larger grand hall, you can see that he's actually stopped in the center of it and is speaking with another member of the Guardians Guild. Seems to be having some sort of informal chat at a distance. There's a few laughs exchanged between them.
I approach with a slight extra spring in my step, lifting up Faye's plans. Sharp, we seem to have cleared up the misunderstanding. I wonder if you would be so kind as to escort me back to Riam Dilblock's desk so I can finally do what I came here for.
It would be my pleasure, Hiram. Will you excuse me? And he excuses the guard he's talking to.
Thank you again.
Well, I'm just glad we could sort this business out, hey?
Yes, and please, I have to vouch for my friend Vorik. This was entirely my fault. I came barreling down the corridor, bumped into him. He didn't even pick up one of the documents. I piled them all into his hands before he had even recovered from the blow, and
It's okay. It's okay.
Full responsibility. I wouldn't want him being judged too severely for mistakes that was entirely mine.
That's quite all right. Yeah, that's quite all right. Warwick is, he is how he is. He is usually relatively dependable, if not a little skittish. But,
I just want to emphasize that I understand the nature of the kinds of documents and goings-on that are contained in a secure facility such as this.
You understand the nature, do you?
I understand that security protocols exist for a reason. What I mean to say.
Roll me an insight. Sharp, please.
That's a 19.
He suspects heavily that you know something about those documents that you took to work. Yes, security measures are indeed very important around here. That is why it is necessary occasionally that certain documents are not seen at all by anyone who does not have the relevant jurisdiction, you understand?
Precisely.
And if they were seen by someone who was not permitted, this could have serious consequences.
For the security of the Guardians Guild as a whole, of course.
For the continent, Hiram. For the safety of all people, perhaps.
Yes, of course.
We here do not just protect ourselves in Kopfiana. We are the protectors of everyone. It is important to understand that.
It is quite a responsibility. I assure you, I take it as seriously as you do. Hence, the rush this evening to ensure that the documents are back in their rightful place.
Well, we are here. Go ahead. And he waits at the entrance.
I go straight back to Riam's desk, that I know exactly where that is now, and with all that's going through my head in this moment, the countless lies that I am realizing I am having to keep track of, that I have told in only the last hour or so, I will still try and apply what little of my mental capacity I can. Glance at Faye's plans for this harvester on the desk and make a few helpful notes.
Great. Well, I'd like you to, as you unfurl it, roll me an investigation and a perception check, please.
Okay. Investigation is a 14. And the perception is a 14 also.
With double 14s, you are able to just about get to grips with this device that Faye has put together. Quite a sophisticated machine. Reasonably impressive. You can see some elements obviously sticking out that could easily be streamlined. These are notes that are easily made. Somewhat interesting, intriguing perhaps, that these might be here considering the complexity of the rest of it. It's almost suspicious, perhaps, that someone might have such skill to produce intricate machinery in one sense and then not do what seems like the obvious to yourself in other areas. As you scan across this document, you can see that it looks very neat, very professional. This is good work, overall, you would say.
I mark those slightly glaring spots of optimization could be achieved, and add a small note commending Faye to Riam, who I assume will find these plans first, commending the intricacy and sophistication of the designs, and noting that I'm happy to glance over any further developments that Faye works on in future.
And making these notes, is there anything you do before you leave Riam's desk?
Feeling that I am now in so deep above my head, in a moment of rash and perhaps even cocky judgment, I pull the inkwell out of my satchel and drop the observation device on the desk. Turn to leave immediately back towards Sharp.
It is important for me to clarify here. Do you pour the device out of your inkwell, or do you leave your inkwell on the desk?
I take it out of the inkwell, making sure that I still have my ink, and leave it on the desk.
As you get up from the desk, make your way back to Sharp. Sharp looks at you with raised eyebrows. Everything in order?
I believe so.
Well then, let's go. I trust you will probably be heading to bed, if this is not part of your usual hours.
I should have been in bed a long time ago. Yes. I can feel it calling to me.
You know, you get used to the nights.
I'm not sure I ever could. It's not in my constitution.
That's funny. How different people are made for different things, yes? Some people are made for certain things, and that's why we all have our different duties.
Indeed, what would we do without our guardians, our healers, instructors?
Yes.
Even our artisans.
Absolutely. It's all very important that we work together. Yes.
Sharp. I'm not in any trouble because of this evening, am I?
Oh, Hiram. Do you think you've done anything so bad that you shouldn't have?
Not intentionally, for sure.
Then I don't suppose you will be in any trouble, no?
Can I roll an insight by any chance on that?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's a dirty 20.
Or with a 20, I will give you profound insight that stretches even to Hiram himself. And as you see a little glint in Sharp's eye, and that emphasis on the word trouble, you'll be in no trouble, no. You can see that Sharp has made an assessment about you, and that assessment is that you are someone who is dangerous, and whilst seemingly harmless, you have the ability to outsmart and to find out information if you wanted to, and that you are almost certainly not as innocent as you are making yourself seem. And he doesn't think that you will get into any trouble, but he does think there will be consequences for what you've done. And in seeing that in his eyes, Hiram, you will know in yourself, yes, I am someone who outsmarts, actually. And I don't think I'll get into any trouble for this. And there's a little bit of confidence that comes into you in that moment.
Just seeing that implicit idea that I am perhaps, just by nature of my abilities, my insight, my expertise, a threat to anyone in a position of power, fills me equally with a sense of pride and perhaps even as much as dread, as I've gotten involved in something far more complicated than simply weapons and armor for the Guardians Guild. But I presume as we approach the entrance hall, that Sharp will leave me to exit, and I consider whether or not I'm really going to go home this evening.
As that consideration enters your mind, and you make steps out of the curved hallway into the grand entrance hall, you will immediately and sharply recognize that this huge hall is now entirely empty. And it was sparse before, as it's late and there weren't many people around, but right now, it's entirely empty. And it is simply yourself and Sharp that stands in the hall. And from the direction of the entrance gate, you'll see come through the turnstile 2 Guardians Guild guards, and at the head of them, walking steadily and proudly in front towards you, comes a face you will know. It is a man named Benrin Lowstow, and he is the Servant Supreme for the Guardians Guild. A man you have met, you think only once before in your time when you very first came to Kopfiana Citadel. And his footsteps echo with presence as they make their way towards you.
I look to Sharp briefly to see if this seems to be something that he was expecting.
Roll me an insight, please.
It's a nat 20.
Or, again, on a nat 20, you can see he does not look at you. He looks only towards the Servant Supreme as they come. He attempts to feign the impression that he is completely in the know, but you can see just behind his eyes that he was not expecting this. He does not know what's about to happen, but he is standing strong as he believes it his duty, and he would like to appear to you as if he knows what's happening. And those steps come closer and closer as you can just about see an evidently warm smile on the face of Benrin, this rather tall, imposing monstrum gentleman, completely clad in shining gold armor, which signifies him as the Servant Supreme of the Guardians Guild.
I bow and greet him. Servant Supreme, an honor to find you here so late. Don't let us get in your way.
Please, Hiram. No need to be on procession. I can see you've been doing some digging this evening.
Well, I've been certainly bumping into things I wasn't expecting. Just like right now.
What a funny way of putting it. Rest yourself assured, Hiram. We are aware of a little more than you may suspect or be privy to. And, well, let's just say it's about a matter of time. It's probably due time that you should be privy to this.
Really? I am at your service, Servant Supreme.
I'm glad to hear it, Hiram. In which case, if you are not quite too tired yet, I'd like you to join me. And, we can discuss a little more about royal operations. How does that sound?
It would be my honor.